Welcome to the Sermon in the Valley with Pastor Rob Eller. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast on any of those platforms and share it with your friends and family. Thank you. The views expressed in this episode are solely that of the host and do not reflect the official views of Emmanuel Lutheran Church in New Philadelphia, Ohio, the Northeastern Ohio Synod, or the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Thank you. Now after the wise men had left, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him." Then Joseph got up, took the child and his mother by night, and went to Egypt, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I have called my son." When Herod saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, he was infuriated, and he sent and killed all the children in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he had learned from the wise men. Then was fulfilled what had been spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled, because there are no more. Welcome back to the Sermon in the Valley. Today the church commemorates the Massacre of the Holy Innocents, a dark chapter in the story of Christmas. Some background on this feast day. The Magi, or the wise men, had seen the Star of Bethlehem, and they traveled to find out what was going on. They first went to King Herod to inquire what was happening, because they had seen the star and they had known what the prophets had written. And Herod, also being informed by what the prophets had written, he was afraid that he would lose his power and control because of a new king being born. So he sent the Magi under false pretenses, saying, "Oh, go pay homage and then return to me so that I may go and pay homage." Well, the wise men were told in a dream to not go back to Herod, because Herod had evil intentions. And when Herod had found out that he had been tricked, because his evil intention was to kill the newborn king, to kill Jesus, and when he found out he'd been tricked, he went into a rage, and because of his power being threatened, he went and killed all of the children 2 years and under in Bethlehem. And the 2 years and under part is important, because the wise men didn't show up until Jesus was about 2 years old. The wise men we lumped the wise men into the Christmas story, but they really didn't show up until about 2 years later, because they were traveling from the east. They were traveling from modern day China, modern day India. And so that's why Herod had every child under 2 killed. It's a dark chapter to the Christmas story, but it's one that needs to be addressed today for one big reason, and that is what is currently happening in the land of Jesus' birth, in Israel and Palestine. I haven't said anything on this podcast about that. I didn't really want to cross over into the realm of international relations on here. But I can't remain silent any longer. To start off, I am not condoning what Hamas did on in early October. That attack was atrocious, it was egregious, and yes, they should face some sort of punishment for it. However, the innocent people of Gaza should not be paying the price for this. The death toll at this point is said to be over 20,000. Likely more because they can't reach many of the people who are buried in the rubble of the buildings that have been bombed. And among those 20,000, over half, I believe the last I heard, it was around 70%, were women and children. 14,000, at least, women and children have died for something they had nothing to do with. This is the modern day massacre of the innocents. Those images of bombed out buildings is horrific. Seeing people wandering the streets, nowhere to go, no food, no water, no medical attention, is atrocious. The people being told to evacuate to one area of Gaza, only for that area of Gaza to then be bombed, is atrocious. The targeting of hospitals, schools, and places of worship is atrocious. Especially after aid workers in those facilities have said, there is no presence of Hamas here. Why are you targeting us? Journalists being killed. Hostages being killed because, frankly, there is a lack of care for even trying to get them out. Aid workers being killed. There was a story recently of a family sheltering in a church, a Christian church, being targeted by sniper fire. It is absolutely hard to fathom why this is all happening. And then I see a news story yesterday that Bethlehem, not even in Gaza, Bethlehem, which is in the West Bank, was targeted with airstrikes on Christmas Day. The city of Christ's birth, a city that is revered not only by Christians but also by Jews, was targeted with strikes on one of the most holy days of in the year for Christians. This is all unacceptable. Yes, I agree. Hamas needs to be taken out of power. Hamas should face the consequences for their actions in October. But this is going way too far. I am at a loss for words right now. I really am. Because on one hand, yes, we should be supporting our allies. We should be supporting those who have faced this kind of thing in the past. But we should not be supporting them as they perpetrate the exact same thing they faced. They faced persecution for who they were. They faced imminent extinction for who they were by a really horrid regime. But that doesn't mean that we can just give the okay to them doing the exact same thing to someone else. This war needs to stop. Innocent lives are truly at stake now. Every day we hear about more and more people, more families, more aid buildings being targeted. And now the death toll is going to rise not because of increases in bombing, but disease and famine are running rampant through Gaza. Gaza will never be the same again because of these actions. Please call your local representatives, implore them to push for an end to this war, push for a ceasefire, to allow humanitarian aid to get in there and take care of the innocent people who are being affected by this. I think back to the show MASH, and there's a really good quote about war is hell in MASH. And it's a conversation between some of the surgeons within one of the theaters, one of the operating theaters in the show. And someone says, everybody knows war is hell. Remember, you heard it here first. And Hawkeye Pierce says, war isn't hell. War is war, hell is hell. And of the two, war is a lot worse. And the priest asks, how do you figure that, Hawkeye? He says, easy, Father. Tell me, who goes to hell? The priest says, sinners, I believe. And Hawkeye says, exactly. There are no innocent bystanders in hell. But war is chock full of them. Little kids, cripples, old ladies. In fact, except for a few of the brass, almost everybody involved is an innocent bystander. Everybody involved in this war, almost everybody in this war currently in Gaza is an innocent bystander. The fact that there is almost zero lack of care for the people that are trying to flee. You're told, go to this area, except either one or two issues. One, they can't get there because everything is blocked on the way there. Or they know that once they get there, that's the next target. They're all told to flee south. That's where all the attacks are happening now. And we're just sitting by complicit, letting it happen. There was a call for a vote for a ceasefire in the United Nations Security Council. We were the ones who vetoed it. We ended that discussion. Then there was a call in the General Assembly for an aid package. Well, we ruined that too. We watered it down, made it basically worthless. We are now complicit in all those deaths. We are complicit. And I confess and pray every day for that complicity. So please, speak up for those who can't. Speak up for those innocent. Please. Please do that. Please share this episode with everyone who needs to hear it. Please share this so that way we can get an end to this war. If you like what you hear with this podcast, please subscribe to it. We're on many platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. The Sermon in the Valley is written and produced at the Patrick Stevens Broadcast Studio in the heart of the Tuscarawas Valley. God's peace be with each and every one of you. Have a blessed day.